Next onto the stage will be Antonio Alanís. You're on the stage, Antonio. Welcome.
Thank you, Jason. I'd like to share my screen as well.
It's all yours.
Let's see. Here we go. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I will be presenting on the Patecatl Illustration Project. Super excited to talk about the impact that it has had on a few community members so far, but eventually, hopefully, it can continue to grow as we develop the project. And also, before I even start, I want to say congratulations to Cornell and Katina for their amazing work. I'm super happy for you all.
Thank you. Congratulations to you too.
Thank you. Awesome. So a little bit about myself. I am a Mexican-American artist, and I've been calling Durham my home for the last 23, 24 years. And I like to use the arts to talk about social justice issues that are important to me. And I decided to apply to the Say Something Strong initiative to talk about some of the things that I noticed earlier through Lindsay's and the Warrens' comments about this growing distrust in communities, particularly in communities of color. The project is named after the Aztec deity of healing, Patecatl, which is why I decided to name this. And the project originally had many, I wanted to focus on so many things, but I eventually decided to narrow it down to trust. How can we further promote trust in communities of color? And the project in itself consists of creating 4 illustrations that will illuminate or highlight some of the recommendations that a focus group of 5 community members shared. I'll talk about the process, how it all happened. First, as I said, I invited a focus group open to community members throughout Durham. And we talked about how can we further create trust in this COVID world, not necessarily to convince anyone to get vaccinated, but really talk about what are the things that they're hearing, the things they're noticing, and led me to point number 2, which was really synthesized a lot of the conversations, what they were saying. Many of these things were very rich, and the challenge was to synthesize a lot of the information into 4 illustrations. It was definitely a challenge, but again, this project can grow in so many other ways, right? The third part of the project consisted of providing sketches and revisions. I worked very closely with the Say Something Strong team, representatives here, including Jaeson, Angel, Dozier, Aidil Ortiz, and Gail Belvett, who provided amazing feedback. And of course, the final part of the project was to create 4 illustrations, as I said here, which is a little snippet of this. Super important to talk about this. Now, I do want to highlight or go back to Director Jenkins' words earlier about creating innovative ways of finding information and creating platforms that go beyond, in my opinion, questionnaires and sitting down and filling out things that can seem taxing on our communities. And I propose doing something like this, working with artists, not only myself, but other people like this, to create opportunities to create rich conversations that go beyond surveys and questionnaires, right? It was a very well-guided conversation, very well structured, and a lot of the things that came out here, I wish I could share everything that we had in the meeting, but it was very open, it was intimate, it was, I felt that a lot of the walls that normally I've seen in spaces were down, people were open to share things that normally they wouldn't share. Some things that I heard in the conversation was people have not had the time or opportunity to share how they were feeling. They were so working in the trenches that didn't have a time or space to decompress what was going on. I had a couple of community health workers, which is so important, taking care of our community, right? You see some of these people here presenting, like the lady here in the middle, some of her some of her thoughts about how to promote trust in this COVID world, right? We even had a child here and all of us presented. Again, super excited to have had this focus group, and also thankful to the Durham County for offering the space, Durham County Library for offering the space. This brings me to the presentation of the series of the Patecatl Illustration Project. The first illustration is building healthier communities together. And this part of the presentation is to present on some of the findings that the focus group provided. As I just said previously, we had people talk about how we can promote trust in healthcare in general. And I definitely want to shout out to Dr. Cherise Harrington, who was instrumental in helping me really narrow the focus question in the project, which was, like I said, how to promote trust. Some of the findings that I've had in this illustration was there's a lot of mistrust and not having trust in community resources, because many of the things that community people see is a lot of disconnection between economical, healthcare, artistic, and all these other systems that are important for us to function. Many people reported back on things of not having their basic needs met, which led to further not feeling trust in people when presenting things. One of the things that Lindsay even mentioned earlier, not many people are in these kind of rooms, right? So providing the rooms that are important for people to feel safe, for people to feel that the information will be used for something that will further improve their lives, and making the outcomes or the goals accessible for them to understand, right? So super important to talk about this. I have so many hands representing different kinds of systems to work together, right? Some of the things that they did talk about was creating pipelines for youth to work in healthcare settings, including growing the talented group of individuals that are graduating from high school, college, to be part of the workforce that will eventually create a stronger bridge between our communities of color, people who speak Spanish as well. And again, building a healthier community together, it was this summary of everyone working together, multiple systems working at the same time, right? And then the second is the leading public health together. This is all of them are my favorite, but this one I identify specifically with because as artists, we are normally not invited to movement work, which I find, again, I like to be collaborative. I like to work together, but sometimes other organizations or people don't really see how much our work can further enrich their goals and outcomes, right? Which is something that decided to also portray here. Many of the people that were there in the focus group talked about this as well, about including the arts, such as the workshop, right? The workshop was pretty much talking about how can we all create trust through the art, and that was something that allowed them to open up again. So again, thank you all for considering the artists, the creatives, to further work together. So it's not only an encouragement for people who are here, but also everyone in Durham, that we are here, and we, at least speaking from my perspective, I am here and I want to continue working together. So this is the first two. To almost conclude the conversation or presentation, I have two other illustrations. The first one called Rooted in Equity. And this is also an important one about addressing disparities, making sure that people are taking care of each other, taken care of as well. Making sure that people are having access and equity to education, which is, you can see here, a tree with, again, connection to other things that are important for us to live, right? To live well, not only to live, but to thrive as well. Again, connection to other people, which is the community here, and housing access, with Durham becoming even more expensive, making sure that housing is also available. And then finally, economic opportunities too, right? So again, rooted in health equities, not just health, but really considering the person as a whole, holistically. And then the final part is taking care of each other, or cuidándonos unos a otros. As you can also see, I forgot to mention, these are also in Spanish, to promote that language, and the people can understand, right? And the final one is taking care of each other. Another theme that I found was promoting trust in a way that healthcare changes the narrative. And I have to be careful that I reflect people's words during the conversation. There's this narrative that is that healthcare seems to be promoting, and is promoting, about making more profit versus taking care of the person. And the people that were there in the conversation also reported that the reason they may not feel as open to talking to people or going to resources is just that fear that they're there to that healthcare is there to make more profit than take care of the person, right? And again, this was a very rich conversation. We had to end in about 2-3 hours, but the conversation could have gone on. And again, this is the presentation that I have today. Before I even conclude, as you can see, the art, you may be wondering why the style. It is based on the papel picado art. It's style from Mexico, which is decorated paper that you may have seen in festivals or other parties locally. I decided again to use culture to create relationships, to create connections. How do we create trust? Is by knowing that, again, that we have opportunities like these from a community members like myself to present, and also using our culture first and foremost to create relationships and connections. And this is the end. Thank you all so much for the opportunity. I want to express again my gratitude to Pool City Strong, Angel Dozier, Aidil Ortiz, Gail Belvett, Jaeson Smith, Dr. Harrington, Durham County Department of Public Health for allowing me to have a platform to further continue this work, and also again for the innovative ways that you all are definitely leading to promote more health equity. These illustrations will be available for licensing, meaning that if you want to use them for printing or pamphlets or anything like that, I'll be happy to follow up with you. You can be in touch with me by scanning this QR code and going in, and you will see my email as well. So as I begin to open up the floor for questions, feel free to connect and scan as well. So again, thank you so much.